Hello, right, here's a short video introduction to the new Montek products, and what you're looking at just there is the X2000, the bottom unit just there, and the B2000 additional battery at the top there. So this is just going to be a short video to show you these new products that have gone out to reviewers. In early November you should expect to see a technical video, a really good video from Montek, because they always are, let's face it. We'll go into a lot more detail about specs and testing out the limits of these things. Right, starting off with the X2000 at the bottom there. That particular one is the NMC model, as is the battery. These are both NMCs. Montek's also producing a lithium iron phosphate version of this, the X1200 and the B1200, but today we're just having a look at the NMC version. Right, so taking a look at the X2000, which is the main unit at the bottom there, it has an NMC 2072 watt-hour capacity battery built into there, with 1500 cycles down to 80%. All controlled by an in-house made BMS. Now AC output on that is, as you would expect, is pure sine wave, and can output 2000 watts with a 4000 watt peak, and there is also a UPS function up to 1800 watts. There's a couple of USB-C 100 watt outputs and a couple of USB-C 65 watt outputs, two USB-A's on there as well, QC3 at 24 watts max, a couple of 5521s at 13.8 volts, 10 amps, and a cigarette output at 13.8 volts, 15 amps, and also around the side I'll show you later on, there's another output there for 30 amp RV connection. All of those of course are regulated. Now on the inputs on the X2000 at the bottom there, AC input can be up to 1000 watts, but as I'll be telling you in a short while, that's user adjustable. And DC input, it's MPPT 12 to 150 volts, 20 amps, 850 watts. Right, but I'm told by Monty that's just for the pre-production units, and the actual production units will be stepping that up significantly up to 1200 for the final product. Right, now looking at the one above, the unit on top there is the B2000, the backup battery for that. That's the unit up top there, which is also a 2072 watt-hour NMC battery. Now, battery-wise, connections, the screw caps that you can see on the left-hand side there, that blue cap there, and that blue cap there is where the battery will connect into the main unit. And if you connect one of these batteries to the main unit, you will up the capacity to 4144 watt hours. If you connect two batteries, 6216 watt hours, and connecting a maximum of three batteries into the main unit, 8288 watt hours. Now you've seen batteries coming out before from other makers, I'm sure, the backup batteries for main units, but I've seen quite a few of them where they're ever so limited. The backup battery cannot work without the main unit, but that thing, the B2000 there, such an impressive unit, because in effect it's a standalone unit in its own right. It doesn't have any AC outputs, but what it has actually got on it, it can independently charge, so it doesn't need the main unit to do this. It can independently charge from AC, from a car socket, and it can also independently charge from solar panels as well. Also, it has outputs as well. It's not just a case of it feeds into the main unit, it's also got a couple of USB-Cs at 100 watts, a couple of USB-Cs at 65 watts, 2 USB-A QC3 at 24, a couple of 5521 13.8 volt outputs, and again also an RV output at 30 amps. So basically, looking at that top unit, you kind of think, well, its sole purpose in life is to feed into the main unit there to give it some extra capacity. But no, it's actually a standalone station in its own right. Absolutely superb design, really is. Right, now let's have a look at a little bit closer and on the screens there. So that's the B2000 that you're looking at there. Screen's obviously been updated from the previous model, from the X1000. Bit of an update on the screen there, and if we just sort of scan down a wee bit, give me 2 seconds, there's the screen on the X2000 as well. Now, thinking about what you can actually do with the main unit, which you're looking at the minute, it's going to have an app on it. There is going to be an app, so you can control it through your phone, but the app doesn't actually exist on this pre-production unit that you're looking at. I don't think that's a bad thing, I really don't, because you get all these other companies that are putting apps out, and I'm sure you've seen it on the internet, where people are then sort of writing in and saying, you know, it doesn't work, it needs firmware updates, and they're constantly doing firmware updates. Now, what I like about Montek is, yes, these pre-production units have come out for us to have a look at, but the app isn't on there yet because he's still perfecting it. He's taking his time to get it right. And I've got a lot of time for that. Instead of just sending out something that's half finished and then trying to sort it out afterwards, he's working really hard to make sure that it's finished properly so that when it goes out, it works properly. I've got a lot of time for that, and there's a lot of companies that don't do that. Right, but as even without the app, I can change lots and lots of settings on that unit. If I go into the settings interface, I can set things such as, and I've got a great list of them here, AC automatic off can go from never to 12 hours. Same with DC automatic off. You can alter the frequency, 50 to 60 Hertz if you need to do that. The brightness of the screen can be altered. There's a reminder for low power that you can set yourself anything between 0 and 10%. The car input, now depending on what kind of circuitry you've got in your car, as we already know, it can be overloaded. It can end up burning cigarette plugs out, etc. Not anymore, because the input can be user defined on this unit, anything between 8 and 12 amps. So you set it to whatever suits the system that you've got. The AC charging rate can be altered. I've currently got that one set at 1000 watts input. Some people don't like that because, as we know, it wears the batteries out a little bit quicker. So you can actually go into the settings menu and reduce the AC charging rate to suit your choice. AC always on can be set, DC always on can be set, charge end can be set as well. So you can actually select on there, on the menu, if you don't want the unit to charge right up to 100%, you can change it. So if you decide, well, I'd actually like it to stop when it gets to 80, you can set that in the menus. You can set the discharge end as well. So you could actually say, well, I don't ever want to discharge below 20%, so I'm going to set it up in the menu so that it can do that. There's a buzzer for on and off as well that you can look at in the settings menu, a cycle count as well, and a battery health count in there as well. All of that lot on the production models is also going to be accessible through the app. So just having a look again. There's the two units. Just a reminder, the X2000 is at the bottom there, and the B2000 sitting up top.